Hi, my name is Valerie. We are here today to learn a little bit about mindfulness. And we're going to learn about it as a research tool to help with stress. We will also learn a guided mindfulness exercise. My name is Valerie Moore. Due to the pandemic, I've not gotten to meet very many of you. I am the new Outreach and Engagement Librarian, and I started in August. I'm also somebody who has been doing mindfulness for about 10 years to help me cope with some pretty extreme anxiety. It was recommended that I start using mindfulness as a tool in my toolkit, and it has been a rich and rewarding experience and one I'd like to share with you. However, mindfulness is just a part of what I use. Before we begin, I would like everybody to take out a pen, pencil, and something you can write on. And I would like you to write down one thing that's on your mind that's stressful. So I will do that too. All right. I don't know if you guys can read this, but it says I'm worried about COVID-19. I imagine I will not be the first or last person to write that down. I would ask at this time that unless you're watching this video on your phone, you set your phone aside. You will not need it. You can turn it off. You can put it in another room, whatever works for you. What is mindfulness? My personal favorite dictionary, doesn't have to be yours, is the Oxford English Dictionary, and they define it as a mental state or attitude in which one focuses one's awareness on the present moment while also being conscious of or attentive to this awareness. Also, the cultivation of this, especially as a therapeutic technique. There has been an increasing interest in the past 40 some odd years in using mindfulness as a therapeutic technique in the United States and as a method to improve mental health. Professor Emeritus of the University of Massachusetts Medical Center, Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, began this movement in the United States by studying the impact of mindfulness on mental health. His results were positive, and his research started the Stress Reduction Clinic. And since that time, mindfulness has been used in general as a strategy to help with anxiety disorders, PTSD, and especially in the mental health field. And I learned that specifically from a writer called Boyce. So this is a little bit of a newer technique in these parts. There's also been some evidence that mindfulness can help with daily stressors. You don't need a diagnosed anxiety disorder for it to be useful. And those daily stressors can include things like finals and school, which is why we're here today. Put simply, the practice of mindfulness means being fully engaged in the present moment. Whatever thoughts, sensations you have shouldn't be dismissed, and that doesn't work terribly well anyway. But you just embrace them as part of the experience. And that could include some more annoying parts of the experience. For example, if you hear an ambulance drive by, well, that's just part of that mindfulness exercise at that day and time. This can mean focusing only on breathing, but it could also extend to other sensory experiences. For example, you could mindfully eat something. You could mindfully smell something, see something. Listen. You may be surprised when we start this activity in earnest that being still and only focusing on your breath is really difficult, and it is. You'll want to embrace each time you do a mindfulness practice as though it is new to you, which is called using beginner's mind. Everything is new. This is why mindfulness is a lifelong journey. It will always be new and it will always be new, and it will always be evolving. Mindfulness is only one form of meditation. There are many other forms of meditation. Mindfulness is not so much sitting and saying Om, though that is a form of meditation, and using a mantra can be a strategy. Today, we're going to focus on sitting quietly and doing a body scan, seeing what our body feels like. Mindfulness is also different from prayer because you aren't sitting there speaking to God or a god, gods, or another deity. You're engaging with yourself. We are going to start with a mindfulness body scan, and it is a common thing to play a chime before starting. I have my chime here on my phone. I am doing exactly what I told you not to do. We have our chime, and that means it's ready. It is time to begin. We're going to take a few moments. If you are a wiggly person, I definitely am, get those fidgets out and get physically comfortable. You can sit, you can lay down, you can lounge. I recommend you don't stand, but you can. And just make sure your body is very physically comfortable. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open. I think I will keep mine open. That's up to you. Also, this is your mindfulness meditation exercise. So if part of the exercise isn't working for you, you can change it in your own head. So we're going to start with a few deep breaths and exhales. And we're just going to reflect on the sensation of our body in the chair, or on the floor, or the bed, the couch, and the clothes touching your skin. You're going to feel the weight of your body and the temperature in the room. Is it dry in the room? What does the air feel like going in and out of your nostrils? We're going to take a few seconds and just focus on our inhale and our exhale. Let's try that again. If you need to breathe a little slower, a little faster, that's fine. Inhale, exhale. A couple more times. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale. Now we're going to start the body scan portion. What we will be doing is going from the tips of your toes to the top of your head and feeling each body part as we go. Each part will be tightened and then intentionally released. You can thank that body part for all the awesome stuff it does for you if you like. And if that body part hurts or just feels generally unpleasant today, you can remind yourself that that's a sign from your body that it needs more attention. Though the pain is not enjoyable, be open and be curious. It's a signal from your body. Let's start with the feet and toes. I'm going to tighten my feet and toes. And with an exhale, I'm going to release that tension. I don't want to speak for you, but my feet and toes take a beating. There are many years I did jobs on my feet. I had ankle surgery. They've done a lot. It's impressive what they can do. And now I'm going to tighten my calves. With an exhale, I'm going to release. And I'm going to move up to my thighs. Tighten them. And release on an exhale. Now our butt. Tighten it. And on an exhale, intentionally relax. One of the harder parts of this exercise is not tensing up your whole body when you tense up one part. If you tense up more than that part, don't beat yourself up. It's just part of the experience, and you can try it again another day. And maybe it'll be easier then. Now we're going to tighten our stomach. I'm not going to focus on different ab muscles, just kind of the whole area. And with an exhale, we'll release our lower back. I find this one particularly hard to just do the lower back. With an exhale, I will release those muscles. Upper back and shoulders, tighten those up. With an exhale, release. And our chest. With an exhale, release. Our upper arms, your triceps and biceps. And release. Your forearms, hands. Tight, tight, tight. And exhale and release those muscles. Let's do our neck. And exhale. And our face and jaw, I don't want to speak for all of you, but I've certainly been walking around with a really clenched jaw since the pandemic started. It's just one sign that I am a little stressed out by that. I think we're all pretty scared by that. So I might make a silly face. And release. Let's take a few breaths, just like we did in the beginning of the exercise. Just inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. One last time. Inhaling and exhaling. And to signal that we are done, once again doing exactly what I told you not to do, we'll play our chime, which kind of will act as a cue that we are done with that particular exercise. All right. Hopefully you feel a little bit better physically than when we started. I do. I'm amazed at how much benefit I can get from even a short practice. You don't need to do it for an hour to get benefit. The final thing I'd like you to do is, this is a screenshot behind me from a handout. The handout is linked below the video. The handout has all kinds of good stuff. It has, as you can see, this awesome image, which I'm attributing to a blog. It has my contact information if you ever have any mindfulness questions. I do my best to answer. I'm not an expert, but I'm a longtime practitioner. In that handout, we also have some apps and websites that can help you with mindfulness, especially if you're newer. Just going and sitting and being still can be kind of hard, and they have some guided exercises and things you can do, which is great. There are books from the library, ebooks specifically, since we're learning remotely, that you can check out on mindfulness that might be helpful. And finally, there's a writing exercise. You can either print out the handout, or you can scribble on the same piece of paper you had before. And I want you to write, if you need more detail about what you're worried about, you can do that. But I don't want you to spend too much time marinating in that worry, because you're probably doing that a lot on your own. I want you to think about how mindfulness exercises or being mindful in your activities during the day could help you potentially. Now, I know we can't out-mindful a pandemic. It's a horrible humanitarian crisis. But I recognize that doing mindfulness a few times a week might be able to help me to feel a little bit better about being stuck at home. And I'll count that as a win. So I highly encourage you to do that. I thank you for your time. I know you guys are going to do amazing at your finals. And remember, the library's here, even if we aren't all here together. Thank you.